what's up, YouTube? Man, Deontay Wilder versus what was it, Johann Duhaupas. I might not be saying that name right, but a lot of guys in the YTBC, a few guys was saying it just the way I was, was pronouncing it, just the way I was pronouncing it. And Wingy, he pronounced it as like Dupois or something like that. So I don't know. I'm not French, I'm American. I'm doing the American thing, trying to Americanize everything and stuff like that. But I've heard some people on the PBC, like I think they mentioned like Dubois or something like that. I thought I would like rewind the fight and stuff like that. But I tried to record the fight. And I ended up recording something else, man. I ended up recording like the an undercard, like it was like Charles Martin versus some guy, and I could have sworn I went on like Channel 5 because in the states, Channel 5 is supposed to be like the NBC Sports, and they didn't have it on there. So I went on to other channel, NBC Sports Network, and it said like Premium Championship Boxing, Deontay Wilder and stuff like that. But anyway, it was a goof, man. My DVR recorded the some undercard like leftover fight and not the prime time fight, and so ain't no telling when it came. I thought it was coming on like later that night, and well, thank God for Daily Motion. Some guy like uploaded it, so after work, I was able to check it out on Daily Motion, and man, I was excited, man. I'm talking about it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm coming back from like doing the gig, working security and stuff like that, and I pretty much like know the results because I'm watching like the PBC thing, and like they showing like highlights with Deontay Wilder fighting this dude. I'm like, isn't that looks like the guy he's supposed to be fighting like tonight? The guy he's supposed to been fighting. And I'm like, what, he won? I'm like, wait, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And then, but anyway, long story short, I stood up to watch the fight, and it was very exciting, man. Uh, go on Daily Motion if you guys haven't watched it. Daily Motion, they got it on like HD and stuff like that. I tried getting it on YouTube. But man, they got like these trolling channels and stuff like that. I hate these like goofy YouTube channels that they talk about like, check out the boxing match, or like, you know, like Pacquiao Mayweather live or something like that, and it ends up being like some stupid infomercial for some like real estate property or something, something stupid, or somebody's trying to like promote their channel, or just trying to get those hits on their channel and stuff like that. That's bogus, man. People do anything to get those like monetized like YouTube hits. It's crazy, man. They shouldn't be allowed to do that, man. It's bogus. Anyway, long story short, this is like one hell of a fight, man. I knew it was an exciting fight just by looking at it, because Deontay Wilder, he was like, he pulled out a whole new repertoire of his arsenal, man. His arsenal is just like it just like increased, man. You know what I'm saying? His like boxing skills, and he was throwing all kind of punches that I didn't even know he can throw. So his repertoire, his he had some extra tools in a toolbox. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do some Teddy Atlas stuff. He's like, he gotta go in the basement and get some tools. Well, he's gotta find it. So something stupid, man, something stupid. But anyway, because I'm watching this Johann Dupois guy, Duhaupas. Johann. I'm just calling Johann by his first name. Johann. I'm watching Johann. He's doing his thing. He's got the high guard, and he's doing the. He's doing like the Erkan Tepper thing. Tepper who knocked out David Price. He's like doing that thing. I'm like, dude, man. And it was funny when I did my prediction video. I was on Box Rec, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like saying to you guys, I'm like, man, Deontay, he's gonna blow this dude out, and I'm not the only one. It turns out, like, I'm not the only one that thought this dude was gonna get blown out. But I was like, yeah, he's pretty good. He's like an unknown, you know what I'm saying? I was just saying he was like an unknown. I didn't call him no bum. I'm not doing that with any like boxers, man. I'm just saying he's an unknown commodity, or the dude's not that good, or he's just like a domestic level, or he's not on a certain level, or something like that. Because you never know, man. Dude steps in the ring, one punch can, change everything. And moving along, I was looking at his record, right? And I noticed that I did watch like one YouTube fight of his when he beat, Manuel Char. I watched a little bit of that. I'm like, okay, I see some flaws here. I never expected him to do the high guard thing. But I noticed that his loss to Tepper went 12 rounds. I'm like, man, Erkan Tepper, he went 12 rounds with him. Isn't this the guy that just beheaded David Price? I was like, he was able to go 12 rounds with this guy. And as I was making my prediction video, I was thinking to myself, I was like, maybe I shouldn't like pick like Deontay Wilder to knock this guy out in like 4 rounds. That's what I was like thinking to myself. But anyway, I was like, nah, he gonna knock him out because he gonna keep that left hand too low. But like to say, styles make fights. People make adjustments. And he came in there with the high guard, throwing a good jab and stuff like that. Deontay's got to do something about that. He gets hit too much with a jab. But hey, that's what makes him exciting, man. It's like Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao got hit with like certain type of punches, and he didn't adjust, but he just kept fighting and stuff like that. And who else is that? Angulo, Kirtland, like Michael Casides. I mean, these guys are brawlers, and they're kind of like shot worn now, but it was fun while it lasted, right? You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys are punch drunk. And who was that? Angulo. He just had a good fight. He just had a good fight not too long ago. But moving along, um, Tepper, he's like doing his thing. He's got the high guard and stuff like that. And Deontay's just like, boxing him. And Ali is like one of Deontay Wilder's favorite fighters. And he was sort of like moving like Ali, up on the ropes and stuff like that, and parrying and stuff like that. But I just love how he started going to the body, because you know how they do those those features, like those pre-fight features and stuff like that. When it or those hype videos and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? Those those specials, those features they do and whatnot. When they're showing the guy like he's talking about, oh, I'm doing it for my kid and stuff like that. And then the introductions they do to of these fighters and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. Well, and one of these feature pieces, right? They were doing, one of these specials they were doing on Deontay Wilder. Um, he's like sparring. He's doing the mitts and stuff like that. He's doing some shadow boxing. He's doing the mitts. He's working with his trainer and stuff like that in the ring. And what he was doing was he was throwing some right hooks to the body. And I'm like, dang, man, he's working on some body punches and stuff like that. And as this fight was going on, I'm like, dude, man, he's just like throwing all these headshots. Like, why don't he just go to the body? And he started throwing that one punch, that right hook to the body. I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, he's starting to put some stuff together now. And then he was throwing a lot of hooks too. He was throwing like a lot of jabs. He was hooking off the jab, which he did a lot in that Eric Molina fight, right? And I was telling people that, man. I went on the Boxing Voice. I was like, look, man. And I kept on saying that, like all these YouTube channels and stuff like that. I make comments. I was like, hey, Deontay Wilder's more than the right hand. He's got that left hook. And then this is funny, man. We're seeing him grow to be like an exciting fighter and stuff like that, Deontay Wilder. Because in the main Stavern fight, we saw the uppercut. Eric Molina fight, we seen more of the hook. And in this fight, he just laid it all out, man. He just laid it all out. He stopped, working off the back foot. He started pressing the fight. He started doing his little inside game and stuff like that. He started, pushing Johann back. And then he started working the body. He started throwing them uppercuts and everything, and he was just letting his hands go. I want to know what the punch stats are, man, because he was throwing a lot of punches. I believe Boxing Beats and Rhymes and those guys, they mentioned the punch stats, and they mentioned that he landed like 300 some odd punches. And I'm pretty sure he only landed like 30%. So I'm guessing he must have thrown like maybe like 700 some odd punches. That's a lot for a heavyweight. It was a lot of activity for a heavyweight fight. And man, he looked exciting, man. The crowd was like going crazy. And I was excited. I was just like, I, I was at a loss for words. I was just like, dude, this is a fight. I mean, Deontay Wilder's his eyes all swollen, and he's trying to knock this dude out. He's trying to knock this dude out, man. I don't know, man. If you guys weren't excited about this fight, then hey, to each his own. To each his own. If you guys weren't excited, but I'm pretty sure you watched this fight, you were excited, man. You were just like surprised, and a lot of people are saying like, "Oh well, he should have knocked him out in 3." But dude, man, Erkan Tepper, this dude got like a high. Let's see this. Tepper got like a 7%, almost a 70% knockout ratio, and he just blew out David Price. You know what I'm saying? And he's blowing out a lot of guys, so he's got hands. So Johann the Reptile, that's his nickname, right? He kind of slick, wasn't he? He kind of slick with the defense. I mean, his nickname was the Reptile for some reason. You can't get him out of there. He's slippery, man. And then I think it was impressive. I think it was an impressive win because we know now that Deontay Wilder can carry his power at least up to 11 rounds. 12, actually 12 rounds. At least 12 rounds. I mean that's the furthest we can go, right? I mean, you don't have 15-round bouts, but we know he can carry his power to the distance, and we know his conditioning is good. He's not slacking off. He's not eating donuts. Ballooning up. And I notice his legs look a little bit stronger too. And he's always doing those calisthenics and stuff like that. They always trying to, they do a lot of strength and conditioning for him in the gym and stuff like that. But that's the way he finished. Johann was great, man. He did a lot of showmanship, but then he started adding in feints, with the right hand and stuff like that. And then he was spinning them. He was spinning them. And like working those hooks to the body and to the head and stuff like that, man. It was just, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that fight again, man. And then the finish was great. He just did what like people want, fighters to do, is just to finish the fight. You got your man hurt. Go ahead and finish the fight. He wasn't hugging Johann or anything like that. He wasn't even doing that. He was pushing him off of him so he can throw more punches. And sometimes they got caught up in the clinch. Sometimes they got caught up in the clinch. He probably snuck a breather in there. I mean, these guys are like 250 some odd pounds. And I don't know if you guys ever like boxed before, like even hit a heavy bag. Hit a heavy bag for like 3 minutes. You're tired. You know what I'm saying? You need to be well conditioned. That's why these guys don't throw like full power like for like 3 minutes. Because I mean, if you throw with all your strength for 3 minutes, dude, you're gonna be exhausted, man. You're gonna be exhausted. You're gonna have to throw some light taps up in there. Just like wing it a few times on a heavy bag, so you don't get winded, man. But man, what more can I say? I want to see more of Deontay Wilder, man. And then Johann Duhaupas, I think he deserves to get back on national television, whether it's in the UK or Europe. He deserves to be back on TV, man. Somebody should be looking to fight him again. He only fell down a couple of rankings on BoxRec, but it really doesn't matter. He came to fight, and see that's what I'm saying. We say a dude's like, oh well, he's not so good, but think about it, man. On BoxRec, they got like they got almost 1,200 guys ranked in the heavyweight division. That's worldwide, right? Professional boxers. Now, some guys they might not be active, so they do drop guys who aren't active and stuff like that. Maybe some guy had like maybe 2 years inactive or something, and they do readily drop guys. But as of now, there's almost 1,200 guys. BoxRec is tracking right now, and I believe before he fell in the rankings, he was like 34. He's ranked number 34, and Deontay is what, like 3. But to be like the 40th highest ranked heavyweight out of like 1,200, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. No, he's not in the top 10, but that's not to say that he can't beat one of the top 10 guys like Brian Jennings or like Antonio Tarver, like he or Tony the Tiger Thomas. I mean, he could probably beat some of these guys. I mean, he went 12 rounds with Erkan Tepper, who's ranked number 8 now. You get what I'm saying? So he's not that bad, dude. You know, but I mean that's why I say unknown commodities, and this is the heavyweight division, man. This is a heavyweight division, man. So that's and then he's got like 3 stars on BoxRec. You know, I don't think that makes a difference, but I'm looking at the stars and the rankings and stuff like that, and he's number 1 in France. So he's the man in his backyard. That's all I ask. With some of these fighters, do you have like any type of belt? Something that separates you from the pack. Because how I look at it is, in order to get to a playoffs, you got to win your division, right? That's a guarantee. If you win your division, if you win your division or your conference, you're guaranteed to get in the playoffs. So you get in the playoffs, you win out, you beat your conference, then you're like the Western Conference champion versus like the Eastern Conference champion, and then those two guys fight to be like the world champion or whatever like that. But you have to go through the gauntlet.